call the meeting to order. Adam, if you please call the roll.
Commissioner Collins,
Here.
Commissioner Martinez,
Here.
Commissioner Almeidas, here. Commissioner Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Jones is absent. Commissioner Ryan,
You're muted,
Frank,
Frank.
you're muted.
Present.
Good. And Commissioner Bonjordi.
Here.
Present.
Right. Yeah, okay. Oh, there's Paul.
Okay. So the first item is a request for determination of applicability. Is somebody on for the Parks Department?
I am.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be, yeah. Step up.
For the city of Springfield for block park improvements, phase 2, property known as 1568 Roosevelt Ave. You're on.
Okay. Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the city of Springfield. My name is Stephanie McDonald, a part of Bowman, to talk about and ask for approvals to explain the project of some minor impacts that we have within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission to you, and I'll explain the project. I can share my screen.
Yep.
Great. So just Blunt Park is, let's see, is kind of big. So just kind of pinpoint you. We're off of Roosevelt, right across from Edgemont Street, if everyone can see. Yes. So right now there's an existing gravel, it's compacted gravel parking lot right here. And this is an existing stone dust track with some ball fields and then green grass in the middle. There's tennis courts and part of the other park features to the north, Roosevelt Ave to the south, wetlands surround the project area almost all the way around. And our proposed improvements will occur within the existing developed footprint. And that is within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. So briefly, I'll just explain an overview of the project. I've highlighted kind of the 100-foot wetland setback area, and then offset is also that 50-foot no disturb zone. So again, as you can see, we're improving the existing track, and we're weeding it and kind of raking it just to bring it back some life. We're improving the ball fields, and we are slightly, just a sliver with this backstop within the jurisdiction, along with striping some field within that track area. As we move a little bit south, the existing limits of the gravel parking lot will now be a paved parking lot, almost half of that area, and a proposed bioretention basin. So we are within that existing gravel lot, paving the entrance and areas and striping it. And then we're also adding some water quality area. We proposed silt fence around the perimeters where the wetlands are, and some areas we are also providing some straw wattles backed with silt fence for extra protection. The existing grading will still be maintained, so flows will still sheet flow into the three wetlands, so grading isn't changing very much. And we are providing some of the existing gravel around the perimeter of the parking lot to again aid in erosion protection, so that when the stormwater hits the is sheet flowing off of the pavement, it'll hit and disperse better before it enters either the new bioretention basin or as it existing flows into the wetlands. So as you can see in this color-coded figure here, the lightish purple is areas within that 100-foot wetland area buffer, and that's just under 31,000 square feet. Again, most of it is just, as you can see, areas within the existing track footprint, and then areas within the existing gravel drive that will now be paved, and then there's still some gravel, and small areas of the basin, the bioretention basin. And then just under, or just about 1,400 square feet is the cyan color, which is within the existing City of Springfield 50-foot no disturb zone. Again, it's all in existing disturbed areas that are that gravel parking lot here, a sliver here, and then a sliver here of that stone, that track. So we're asking the commission just if these activities are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act and the municipal ordinance bylaw. Again, it's improvements to the municipal park and again, improvements to water quality overall. Are there any questions?
So you are gonna have sediment controls around the work area, right?
Correct. I can show you that here. We have straw wattles, backwood silt fence along the perimeters, wherever there's wetlands, and then wherever there's like not existing wetlands, we still have some silt fence that'll go around.
Just, it's not our issue, but just out of curiosity, would you show the slide you had up before with the parking lot?
Yes, with the colored.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that hatched areas, those are landscaped areas, I'm assuming?
So we have a wetland seed mix for the bioretention basin, and then we'll have like a lawn mix, just lawn, and then there will be some areas of just some gravel between the asphalt, like the new paved areas, and in the lawn areas to act as that just dissipation for stormwater, so it doesn't create erosion around the sides.
Yeah, no, I was asking about the crosshatch at the end of the middle parking, yeah.
Oh, these, yeah. So that's just for turning movements to allow so that no one's parking here or gets squished for parking. So it's not a space, but it allows to maintain the 22-foot wide travel lane. So we have 22 here, 23 feet here, 18 by 9-foot spacing parking.
Well, are those grassed areas or?
No, this will be pavement. It'll just be striped so that no one parks there. Yeah, just the lawn seed mix is more of this, kind of looks like dots. And that's surrounding the proposed paved area.
So Stephanie, the drainage for the parking lot, is that going into where you have the wet seed, where you're gonna be putting? Is that where if the parking lot will drain into that?
Yeah, so it's not all, I can show you the grading plan. We're trying to maintain existing grades. And let's see, grading right here. So you can see our high point 206, and this is a 205, and this goes lower. So for the most part, yes, it will go down, this direction. I can show you. Here, it'll go this way. Oops. So for the most part, we'll try to get a lot of that at new paved area here. There will be some that are maintained to go into the other wetland areas as existing conditions. We don't want to dry them up, but we are paving, so we do want to put some water quality.
The reason I ask that
Thank you.
is during the winter, DPW dumps snow in there. All winter long, you see big piles of snow. And as that slowly melts, it tends to penetrate into the gravel parking lot. Now it won't. So it's going to run off, it will all run off, I'm assuming.
Maybe we try.
So it's like a storage area or just to get it off the road type
Well,
thing?
What they do is, and so you haven't talked to DPW, or have you?
I have not spoken to DPW about it, but I can.
Because if you drive by there during the winter, there's huge piles of snow
Yeah, maybe we could find
that
a
have
way
come
to
off the street.
put the snow in a different place other than here moving forward.
So actually, if it was there, it was still going into the wetlands untreated. This actually provides an area of treatment. So even after, we can put that in our O&M plan too for the basin, that it needs to be cleaned out after the winter season, where it needs to be, scraped and the sediment and anything in here. So it does provide an extra layer than what is there now, if that is the case. Because before, right, it's just going to go right directly into the wetlands. Without,
Yeah, I mean, then it went down into the soil because it was porous.
Yeah.
And now it won't, it'll sheet flow over, but
Two more.
the basin is clearly an improvement. But I think we will put your suggestion into the order where that be maintained every year.
yeah.
Is that salted, do you know, in the winter?
It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
off the street, so
Yeah,
Oh, so it's off the street, not just the parking lot. So they bring the snow from the street there?
yep,
yeah, I think from other areas too, but there's all gonna be salt in there. In the
I
snow.
see. So then that is salt,
or whatever they're using for melt. Yeah.
right?
Certainly not as much salt as in other towns, because GPW salt too often in Springfield.
But if our winters have been, we haven't had much snow these past few winters, who knows what it'll be like.
But you do have the base, as long as that's maintained, that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
Yep.
So this is
Is
just.
this, yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, Frank.
Is this repaving or resurfacing or new?
Yep. So
Concerned
we'll
about
use,
construction.
yeah. So
That
it's existing gravel and it's compacted. It's been like that for years. So we'll use that as the sub base. We won't dig it up to recompact it because it's pretty compact. And that's the thing with, it will seep in, right? Because there is some gravel elements, but it's really not that porous as you think because it's been driven over for so many years. So there's not a lot of void space in between for water to get through. So for that reason, we'll keep that sub base and then we will add the pavement layers on top of it. I think we have detail.
What concern and care do you have for the wetland as they lay that?
Yep, so we have erosion controls along the perimeter. And specifically, we have it backed with straw bales along the areas that are adjacent to the wetlands, especially on these sides, to prevent any sediments to aid in prevention of sediments getting in.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any questions from commission members? So do you have this on the agenda for a decision or? Is this just the public hearing?
Just public hearing.
Okay. If there's no other questions, then a motion to close the public hearing is in order.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
We do have to do a roll call.
Yeah.
So be part.
You got it. Commissioner Collins,
Yes,
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes,
Commissioner Alminas,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes. Oh,
and Commissioner Bonjour.
Yes.
okay, I would anticipate that when we do discuss this, that we're probably not gonna be, we're probably gonna go with, well, it's applicable, not requiring filing as long as they have you inspect the hay bales.
Yes, yeah, I'll do that, so. Okay. Do better everything.
It could fall under all other matters, yeah.
Public could be here.
Is anyone here to comment on this particular project? No? We could probably do that under,
Follow the
I don't
matters.
know.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Enjoy your night.
Okay,
Good night.
item 2 is petition ID number 8762, request for determination of applicability filed by CSX Transportation for CSX Transportation Vegetation Management Plan, active CSX Railroad right away.
Hello, my name is Steve Herzog with VHB representing CSX with this RDA. This RDA is a matter, of course, that CSX submits every 5 years because every 5 years they are required to renew the vegetation management plan for herbicide application on the railroad. I've done these RDAs for many towns, so I don't remember if any commissioners in Springfield have been on the commission in the past. I do remember working with Kevin Chafee for many years. He's apparently moved on. So I will give a brief overview of the RDA and then be happy to answer questions. May I share my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the cover page of the plan set. You'll see CSX is the railroad that runs
Stephen, we don't
east-west.
see it.
You don't see it.
Oh, I forgot to hit the button that said share. Can you see it now?
Yes,
Okay, sorry. So yeah, CSX runs east-west from the Connecticut River to Wilbraham. And most of the line is in urban area, so there are not many wetlands, but there are wetlands further along. I'll go through the plans, but I'll first explain, as I said, we've done this RDA every 5 years. I've been involved since 2010 working for CSX. The vegetation management plan is something that they need to do every 5 years that states to the Department of Agricultural Resources, Pesticide Bureau, Rights of Way Management Group, what herbicides will be used in what manner. So CSX applies herbicides once per year to control weeds, and sometimes every 3 years, I think, they do an additional application to treat brush that is outside the railroad bed. Actually, I'm going to share. I can share a different screen. I'll just pull this over. I have a photo that's an example because commissioners are often curious what this looks like. So here on the railroad cross ties, the railroad is approaching a bridge. This is not in Springfield. It's just an example. These yellow markings, here's another example, indicate that there is a wetland within 10 feet of the edge of the stone ballast where the herbicide will be sprayed. So these markings mark the start and end of the weed spray zones. All right, so the first one is obviously across the Connecticut River. The railroad bridge is an open deck bridge. You can look down between the ties and see the water, so there's no herbicide spray allowed across the river. And then proceeding from west to east through Springfield. These are just aerial photo maps showing the railroad, and there's not much for wetlands until we get here So this wetland would be more than 10 feet away from the track, so there's no restriction there. But here, where did we just cross? Roosevelt Avenue. There are wetlands either side of the track, but as you saw in those images, the track is generally raised above the surroundings. So here on the north side, the wetland lies within 10 feet of where the herbicide applicator would spray herbicides on the ballast railroad bed. And on the blue, the bottom side is the blue, which means wetland buffer zone. They are restricted to applying herbicide at most once per year. And you can see there's a stream conveyed beneath the railroad. But on this side, on the south side, the opening of that culvert conveying the stream must be more than 10 feet from the weed spray zone. It's not marked as yellow for no spray. So again, to reiterate, in case I wasn't clear, yellow means the herbicide application cannot be made on the side of the track that's marked yellow. And proceeding to the east, Berkshire Avenue. Here we approach 5 Mile Pond. So here the wetland is within 10 feet of the tracks on both sides, wetland or water body, so it could be the lake. Not here. Similarly, with this stream crossing, the inlet and outlet of the culvert are more than 10 feet from the ballasted railroad bed. Crossing Route 20. And here we are crossing the line into Wilbraham. So there are not very many of these, and they have not changed in the 5 years since the last time we presented this RDA. So we're asking the commission to approve this determination based on these maps, because there really hasn't been any change in the 5 years or the previous 5 years since we've done this work. But I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
So Steve, there have not been any no spray zones that were eliminated or shrunk, right?
No, not to my knowledge, no. They're
Limited spray, are they the same as they were in the one? And by the way, I've been here for 4 of these, so.
okay. Yes, the zones are generally the same. There may have been some tweaking, with measurements. In the past, we would go and mark on the railroad and then put a mark on a map using a pen. Now we use a handheld GPS, which has sub-meter accuracy. And so these maps are based on the GPS. So there could be a little bit of variance from the previous RDA maps, but not the actual wetland on the ground. No, there have been no changes.
Okay.
Steve, what exactly are you using to spray?
There's a list of herbicides that the railroad uses that's part of the yearly operational plan, a YOP. I don't actually have that list in front of me, but that's something that would have been sent to the commission separately from this RDA. The RDA is done every 5 years, but I can see if I can find that quickly.
I was just curious.
I will say that CSX only uses herbicides that have been approved. Here we are, approved by the DEP for use in sensitive areas. And sensitive areas means within wetland buffer zones, for example. So they use the same herbicide whether they're in a wetland buffer zone or not, so they don't have to change the herbicide they're using. So here, Aquaneat, Ranger Pro, these are the different choices they have this year. And this YOP has, at the end of it, links to data sheets and the DEP website descriptions of these chemicals.
Okay.
The important,
Is there a guy like with a backpack on spraying it by hand? How is it applied?
It's applied by a truck that drives on the railroad. So here, this is not the truck that's actually doing the work, but it's an example of the truck has what are called high rail wheels that mount on the rails. And the weed spray truck has a big tank on the back and a spray boom that sits very low above the track and sprays out the herbicide in a defined pattern.
And you're saying they use the same herbicides on everything, so it's all of them is getting the herbicides that is okayed by the. So you're using the same one everywhere.
Yes, except in the yellow when there's no herbicide at all.
Right, except for the yellow, right.
Right.
Other questions? And over the years, you know, DEP has approved the herbicides. And it's actually a right of way. We don't have as much control over it as, what we really do is approve the maps.
Right.
It's controlled by other agencies.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions?
Hmm.
Hearing none, someone want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All right, and I'll do a quick roll call. Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes,
Commissioner Alves,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bonjour.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
so 3 is a notice of intent. Notice of intent filed by T.L. Brenner Realty, Brenner Construction, LLC, for Tinkham Woods project on a property known as 243, 261, 277, and 289 Tinkham Road, parcel ID number 11570 through 229. And also 11570 through 0226, 11570 through 0223, 11570 through 0220. Portion of the 11570 and 11570 Those are actually the parcels.
Maybe.
Good evening.
How would you like me to set up so that folks at home can properly see what I'm doing, or do you want to go off of the screen and they can see it better? Is that, so that's really good.
Yeah, I think, we stop.
Papers are a little tricky.
I think this is,
They can see.
can you all see? Can you all see?
If I put the plans, I don't know, does that camera move or? Is that?
It's gonna slightly angle towards you as you talk.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure, can you all see clearly the screen?
We can.
No one else can.
better that they see it there.
Maybe share the screen and I can leave this one for the audience. How's that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah, if you spin it around from where you are
Here, I'll
and
put
share the
this-
screen.
I'll put this over here for you guys. All right, and then I'll go back and forth with questions and whatnot. Let's not go with anything. All right, take me over here. So can we share sheet? It would probably be, the best one would probably be C3. It's kind of overview grading and erosion control.
Hey, Chris,
Yes,
I figure while he's setting up real quick, I probably should disclose that I work with Tom. And I don't know, I can be completely professional about this, but I don't know when it comes to voting if I'll be allowed to vote because I know Tom was building in this area and I don't know if there's any conflict or anything.
Brad, do you work for him?
No, I do not work for him.
So, right, if you don't get if you don't receive payment or money, you can,
No,
Well, yeah, there's no financial connection and you don't work directly for the rep.
no financial. Well, we were thinking about buying in this area, but we decided not to. So there isn't any financial conflict and no, I do not work for him.
Then you should be okay to vote for him.
Okay.
I'm assuming the proponent has no concern with that, correct?
Absolutely, no, I have a great relationship with him. I built the house that he's living in now, that was a few years.
Oh, he's there. What's going on, Tom?
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
Hey, I didn't see you. Were you hiding in the corner?
I'm hiding over here.
All set? Okay, good evening for the folks at home and folks in the audience. I'm Rob Levesque from our Levesque Associates here this evening representing Mr. Bretta, who you've just heard from. This is a proposed 43 lot subdivision to be located off of Lincoln Road. There's a couple street names that we'll kind of give you here. There's Fiddler's Green, which is to the kind of the top of the plan, which is a proposed subdivision road. Also Bretta Way, which would be the kind of the longer of the roads that continues on to the cul-de-sac. And then there's two short cul-de-sacs, Scarlet Circle and Nicholas Circle. So as we're kind of going through the plan, what I'll do is I'll probably refer to those streets and in general refer to the lot locations. So the subject property is a beautiful piece of property. It's sandy. It's gradually sloping to the west. I believe that's to the west. Let me go look on the north of the road. To the southwest, which is kind of towards plan left. So to give everybody kind of an overview, when we do these projects, we design these projects based on the subdivision and zoning regulations. So a lot of what you see here adheres to the, well, actually everything you see here adheres to the city of Springfield subdivision regulations. So roadway lengths, cul-de-sac lengths, design standards such as road widths, sidewalks on either side of the street, general infrastructure with drainage, sewer, water, etc. Those are all based on typical city profiles in the subdivision regulations. The lot sizes are based on the zoning regulations for the zoning district. So what you see here is all kind of put into a soup, and then we come up with the plan that meets all those requirements. There's no extreme grades within the subject property. Generally speaking, the current drainage patterns are from Tinkham Road, so from plan right to plan left. There's a large wetland resource area on the very extreme left side of the subject property, actually just off property in most cases, if not all cases. From that bordering vegetated wetland that exists there is on our plans, we've extended and also on the plan that you see in the audience, is a 50-foot and 100-foot buffer zone from that bordering vegetated wetland. Those were marked in the field. My understanding is your conservation director had the opportunity to walk the site with Mr. Bretta. There is a nice abrupt, as far as wetland delineation goes, pretty straightforward in that there's a nice abrupt change from the very sandy soils on site down to the areas where there's hydric soils, hydrophytic vegetation, and signs of hydrology, kind of at the toe of the slope. So there's a slope on the, we'll call this the southwest side of the site that drops down to this BVW. There's a grade change of approximately from 230 down to about, I'd say about 210 or so at the wetland edge. So there's a pretty abrupt change. The soils on site, as mentioned, are sandy, great material for developing and building, and also for stormwater. So in between lots 17 and 16, there is a stormwater basin that's proposed. This matches pre-development and post-development drainage patterns where we're running the drainage to that location. We have their typical treatment train, which consists of deep sump catch basins that run through the conveyance system to water quality unit, to the sediment forebay. There's two sediment forebays within our basin because there are two, we'll call them outfalls into the basin. The basin is controlled by an outlet control structure. And then that outlet control structure discharges during storm events to a level spreader that's located just outside of the 50-foot buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland. The nice thing about this particular area is where it's discharging to is not flat, but pretty flat. In general, it's before the top of slope. It's approximately 15 to 20 feet away from the top of slope, which is nice in that the level spreader will allow the water to dissipate, be spread out, and it won't be, channelized flow and then the beauty of the material is that it should allow the water to exfiltrate into the ground below.
At what storm rate will that outlet?
So I have the stormwater report. There's different storm events where we have to look at all the different storm events tooth and 25 and 100, I believe. So I believe it has a discharge in all of those events, and I can get into the stormwater report for you. But so it's discharging a little bit at each event, but it's generally it's matching the pre-development flows. So any CFS that are coming out or coming off of that design point now have to be matched. We can't increase those. So we're not increasing any design flows during those events. We are metering the water out through that outlet control structure, generally at the same or slightly less than they are pre-development. The interesting thing here is, and you're probably aware of this, when you have A soils, arguably, you end up with a situation where your change from A soils to impervious is a pretty big change. So that's why the basin is the size that it is, fairly sizable basin. And you know, the good news is there's good material, so we expect great drainage. Also, the runoff off of the properties should be quite reasonable. We have swales that will, you know, in the upland areas, this is all upland out here. We have swales that will pick up the water with drainage easements that will allow the water to come off the lots, be treated, get into the treatment train, and then run with the stormwater basin. There were a few comments from Mass DEP, mostly housekeeping, in my opinion. I'd be happy to go through those. We did provide a response. Generally, our responses are that we understand the comment or that they're noted. I don't know if it's most appropriate to go through them individually, or if you have seen them and don't feel the need to go through them.
I don't think the whole commission has seen them, so I think we should go through.
Sure. Okay, so in a letter dated June 23rd, our response letter, we are responding to the letter received by DEP under file number 2940637. I'll paraphrase if it's okay with the commission. Item number 1 was regarding the current owner responsibility, the responsible party for stormwater standard 9, the responsible party for foreseeing future, or will the city assume management of the stormwater system? If the city at any point is to assume the responsibility for it, the city must review said stormwater system. So the drainage system has been provided to the DPW department. We also have Springfield Water and Sewer review going on separate from that. Mr. Bretta and I met with Andy Carr prior to just left for vacation. Hopefully he's coming back soon. But we had a great meeting with him. He provided us comments. We had addressed those comments and then submitted those back to Andy. So we believe we will have something from DPW shortly that will basically, you know, either say that they have no further comment or ask for, you know, further minor revisions. So far, there were no major revisions. I think in general, we had a very positive meeting with Mr. Carr, and we expect that that will be resolved in short order.
I don't think you answered the most important part of the question, which
Sure.
is who's going to assume responsibility
So this would
for
be a
maintenance
city.
going forward?
Yeah, so Mr. Bretta will be responsible for this until he requests street acceptance. The request would be that this become a city street. So that would have to go through the street acceptance process when Mr. Bretta has satisfied all the requirements that were. Okay.
I would think we would have a maintenance plan.
Yes, we have an O&M plan. Yep, and I do have a copy for you. Good question. Sorry.
No, I just want to make sure that the city has it.
Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. They do, and it has been provided. So there's a long-term O&M plan for the basin. The city also may have comments on the O&M plan. We did not receive any comments from Mr. Carr on the O&M plan to date, but certainly I'm sure he reserves the right to, if he has any questions to come. Number 2, okay to move on to number 2?
Yep.
Okay, number 2, the commission should carefully review the low impact development considerations with HSG, it says A, hydrologic soil group A, so good soils. With a 43 lot subdivision and multiple new roads and cul-de-sacs, it does appear more could be proposed. So if you're familiar with Mass DEP stormwater management standards, there are low impact development considerations such as rain gardens and roadside swales and open drainage, which in a perfect world on a sandy site, which we do have, it is possible to, I guess, for lack of a better term, to pull off, right? But
Yeah.
what it is completely inconsistent with is the city of Springfield stormwater regulations. As you can imagine, a municipality that's going to accept a street doesn't want to be maintaining a rain garden in somebody's front yard or in somebody's backyard, or have a swale that somebody decides to put a shed on and those types of things. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunately, while it's a creative way to handle drainage, and sometimes often a heck of a lot cheaper than doing all the subdivision drainage that you see here. But the problem is really ongoing maintenance, and we found that it's really, unfortunately, in direct conflict with most DPW and engineering departments when they look at a subdivision like this. So that's that sort of. And again, we meet or exceed all of the requirements of not only the DEP standard, but also with regard to the city of Springfield standards, provided that we, make sure that Mr. Carr is satisfied. Number 3, as a reminder, a log book for keeping track of the maintenance of stormwater BMPs, that's best management practices, must be kept and made available for the commission or Mass DEP upon request. This item should be discussed at the hearing, as this requirement is frequently not met by the responsible party. I don't think it's Mr. Brella they're talking about. I think in general talking about responsible parties in general. So that's fine. We understand that.
We're
So
talking about the city.
maybe, yeah, maybe.
Because we don't get reports when they maintain
No.
the,
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a big tracking job in the city like Springfield, so.
Yeah.
Number 4, so we understand that comment, that was our response. Number 4, order of conditions should be provided. So that no work, including the site preparation, land disturbance, may commence until at least the construction period, pollution prevention plan, and erosion sedimentation control plan, SWIP, that meets the requirements of standard 8 as set forth, elaborated by the Massachusetts Stormwater Handbook, has been approved by the issuing authority. So it's interesting. So we're required to do a SWIP anytime that we're stormwater pollution prevention plan, anytime we're over an acre. We typically do that prior to construction. If that's a condition of the permit, we take no exception or concern with that. That's pretty standard stuff. So certainly that would be provided, and then any sort of stormwater authority, through DPW or any of their comments, will certainly address all those as well. And if they have additional requirements, we'll take care of it, as with the commission. So, yeah. Number 5, will the commission be requiring a construction monitor for the project that would report on any issues to the commission during the life of the project? I think that's a question for the commission. I'll leave that for you folks.
we always do.
Yeah.
It's part of our standard order.
Gotcha, okay. So I said to be determined by the commission. Number 6, the commission should review the mass erosion and sedimentation control document. And it gives a link. Please especially review the use of construction period sediment traps or basins, which are sized based on watershed area. The commission should ensure it has a clear and concise report on the proposed sequence of the project. That's a good comment. We see with larger projects, typically is projects that have more slope to them and also have soils that aren't quite as good. Where if not careful, a contractor can sometimes open up the site more than they need to, and sometimes have issues. So temporary sedimentation basins, in this particular case, what we probably recommend is if the basin itself was used as a temporary sedimentation basin, we usually recommend under excavating the basin so that they're not fouling the material with fine material into it. But certainly if that was a condition of the order of conditions or part of the Springfield DPW requirements, we can certainly address that. And typically we would provide that as a condition. You could provide that along with the SWIP because they kind of work one and the same. How are we handling our water? Do we have any dewatering that's going to be necessary? In this particular case, I would say no. Those are the types of things that we look at. Good comment, and we'll fully address that if that becomes a condition, that makes sense. And then I think that's it. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Commissioners, questions?
Yeah, I have a, the area has pretty much been cut of trees. I saw it. And, you were careful with not taking trees that abutted wetlands? I mean, did you check with anybody first, with,
So Mr. Bretta's here. My understanding is he had the 50 and 100 foot buffer zone staked. To make sure that he was, out of the area. I do believe you folks walked it.
Yeah, Mr. Brett and I walked it, yeah.
okay, yeah, okay.
I met with the tree warden and walked the whole site with him for significant trees and all the others, regarding the tree department, so.
The wetland line, the 50-foot line, and then the 100 line, all very well placed, when we inspected it about a month ago. They looked really good. And that would be on the west and south section of the parcel. We walked the
Okay.
entire.
And, how many houses abut wetlands, or are there any?
So through the chair.
Yep.
Lots 12, I would say, let's call it lot 12 through 20 are all generally adjacent to wetlands, and then by that, the backs of the lots in some of the lots are within the 50. The wetland line is really, other than one location, predominantly outside of the property itself. So lots.
And what,
So 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 or 9, including the stormwater basin, we'll call it 9.
okay. And when those houses, before they're built, we will see the specifications, won't we?
I think that's certainly up to the commission on how that gets handled. We are showing impacts for the rear portion of those lots to the 50-foot just outside the 50-foot no touch zone. So if we can do it under this order, I think that would be the most expeditious for the proponent. If the commission is specifically concerned, then we would certainly entertain the idea of, if we needed to come back.
Did you say that they're outside the 50-foot?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
Sorry, go ahead.
Juanita, go ahead.
Oh, no, I thought that I didn't, I guess I didn't hear that. They were all within the 50-foot, all of those houses.
He meant they're outside.
I mean, outside, I meant.
So
Yeah.
just so I can clarify, and sometimes it's hard to explain because of the graphic nature of things, but some of the lots extend, the actual lot extend into the 50-foot, but there is no activity proposed within within the 50-foot zone at all. So none of the backs of these lots would impact within the 50-foot. Yeah, I don't know if is it possible to draw?
Yeah, I get you. Oh, wait. Do you want me to draw?
That'd be great, yeah. We're gonna draw it for you. We're gonna draw that, we'll try to color in the, I'm sorry, like the 50's right, that one.
50 is
right, yeah,
right there?
Right.
Right, I got you, I got you.
Is it a smart board? Oh, can I write?
I think you can, right? Yeah.
Let's see.
Get out of the way for it. Yeah. Yep.
Look at that.
All right.
That's the 50.
Hold on, I'll go down for you. Yep.
So you can see that, I'll do a different color here. See how good I am at this? Look at this.
This is good stuff.
Don't get too excited, I might mess it up. So this,
There you go.
so this is the property line, okay? So the red, oops,
Sorry.
I did that wrong.
No, that was me. I was scrolling.
So, I won't go any farther than this, just to, so you can see the property line in red. And then the blue is the 50-foot buffer, so we're not going into the 50-foot. The proposal is to stay completely out of the 50-foot no touch zone.
You are. But as we noted in the past, unless there's a deed restriction on those lots.
Yep.
That says that they cannot go beyond 50 foot, and there's some type of demarcation. They're gonna go back there and put in grass, or they're gonna put in pools, or they're gonna do other things, so. Those lots are gonna need to have deed restriction on them, and you're gonna have to demarcate the 50 foot.
Yeah, recently, remember we were putting up, the granite poles in some of the,
Concrete bounds, I just did one on Pinkham and I did all the spray paint them all orange and the tops, the tips of them. Adam walked that with me over to one of my other sites
Yeah.
there. So I'd be willing to
Yeah.
do that, just to put the markers on
Yeah,
there.
just these particular.
Yes, correct,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a great idea to have them in the back for,
Quite honestly, people don't know. You know,
Right,
when
right.
it's-
exactly,
When the house is sold and they're told that you can't put grass beyond this point.
Yeah.
They come in and go, I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
told."
and when I do them, I always put them, keep them up, you know, a good portion, 18 inches, and then I paint them orange, so you got the tips of them. On all of it, so it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, people do whatever they want to afterwards, but at least you're selling
Yeah.
it. And you have the bounds and.
yeah, that's good, because those work better than plantings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other questions? Any other commissioners have questions?
And then there's a total of 43 houses?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yep.
How about members of the public? Questions?
Yes, I have some.
Quick that.
I wanted to follow up on Juanita's question. Were any effort to leave trees abutting the wetland?
It's a lot, 16 with all it, yeah,
Nothing was removed beyond
like 16 with all
the
that.
100 or the 50, Kevin? Kevin, yeah.
All right, sorry.
With the trees, did they stop at the 100
At
foot?
the 100, yeah, we had it, and I stayed way above the 100 just till I get the
Okay.
permission to go to the 50 and then.
So Frank, no trees were removed inside of the 100 foot buffer zone, which is all that we can control anyway.
Frank, and I was out there, I can confirm that, I was out there with Mr. Bretta about a month ago when we walked it.
I'd like to also review, though there's slight gradients. You said that the wetland edge was at the southwest. What are the gradients leading to the wetland area there?
Go through the chair.
Go ahead.
So in general, let's see if I can use this. So are you talking about this area here?
Yeah,
So there's a grade of 228 at the top of the slope. I'm gonna say at the edge of the wetland, it's 219, 18, 17, maybe two, let's just approximately, that's 216. That help?
So the entire edge of wetland is at 216, I'm assuming.
I think it varies depending on where you exactly are, but generally the wetland is fairly flat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's noticeably uphill.
Yeah.
Where these houses are going to be is noticeably uphill from where the wetland is.
Yeah.
Right.
So you could see that well.
It's interesting in that the blue line that I drew for the 50 foot is quite consistent in most cases with the top of slope. In some cases, it's a little bit into the flatter area, but for the most part, it's fairly
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good for people. Hopefully, won't be expanding
Yeah.
their yards later. You know.
We probably gonna need to have in your information that you give to the
The
people
owner,
who buy the
yeah,
houses,
and the deed and stuff.
that they can't dump their grass clippings
Right,
inside there
right.
just because they can't use it,
Yeah,
because that's not helpful.
I have a question, it's not relevant, but for Tom. Of these houses, are any of them affordable housing?
No,
No,
They're gonna be similar to my other developments I've done on Springfield, Barrington Drive, Angelica Drive, Tanglewood Drive.
Okay.
Similar houses, that style, you know, in that same price range.
Okay,
I wanted to check where the sizable basin was also just for orientation. Thank you. The images are small. Thank
Yeah, no problem. Great. Les.
I'm gonna allow the public to
I'm
ask. some
deferring
questions.
to Chairman Collins. At some
Yes.
point, will there be order of conditions as we watch this being developed?
Yeah, we're gonna consider the order at the next meeting, because Adam was writing down some of the special conditions that
Yeah.
wouldn't typically be in an order. So we'll get a chance to review that at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
We would expect to probably have some, hopefully closure on Mr. Carr's comments as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Members of the public, yes.
I got three things. I heard sidewalks mentioned, you're gonna put sidewalks,
Both sides of the road, yes, correct.
because I live on Foxwood, we don't have sidewalks, it's very nice without them, you know. I don't know if you need them, and the second thing is streetlights. We don't have streetlights on Foxwood, which is on the other side of the church there, it's very nice. And also there's a dump back, that needs to be cleaned up, and you aware of the dump? You've seen it?
I am, and I was talking to Adam, some stuff was dumped in the wetlands that I'd like to clean up and pull out of there and clean some of the stuff up too, so.
I mean, that dump is old, you know?
I know,
Yeah.
all the metal and stuff that,
Well, yeah.
yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
It's horrible.
20 years ago, I saw it.
Yeah. I'm cleaning all that up and getting in there and taking out all that stuff out there. That doesn't impact the wetlands at all where that
Yeah.
portion is too much, but.
I wish
I
I
am.
were doing it, but. You built behind me on Mandalay Road 25 years ago, too. Now you're popping up again. You remember Groveton Street there?
Yeah.
You built those houses.
Yeah.
I questioned you on the lot size.
Yeah.
From the school committee and school department's perspective, they're happy to hear there's gonna be sidewalks. Cause those kids will all be walking out to the end of the street, get picked up by the bus.
Yeah, in the subdivision standards, the chair,
Got
they do
They're
require
very
it.
strict on it now, and I don't wanna even ask for a waiver even on one side of the road. I just, you know,
We did on a previous subdivision recently ask for a waiver for one side, the sidewalks, and they had chosen to have both sides.
And how about the streetlights? I mean, it's, you know, we got certain neighbors that turn their lights on all the time, but other than that, nice and dark in our street, you know, I mean, you can light the dark, but you can't dark the light, you know what I mean? The light's there, you can't get rid of it, but if it's dark, you turn off, you know what I mean? It's.
Are you planning on streetlights?
no, there's no proposed streetlights.
Well, that's.
Yeah, well, the people are probably gonna want. Just like we voted not to have them, they'll probably vote to have.
It's a planning issue.
Yeah, that'll be up to the city council. I'm sorry.
That'd be the planning board and the council. Yes,
What's the anticipated time frame for this project? From now to completion?
I would say it depends on how the economy is and how everything sells, but I would say, you know, roughly 3 to 4 years.
Are you gonna build the houses and then sell them?
Yeah, I usually just build the houses, complete them, and then put them on the market.
So is that all done through you, or do you open it up to other builders?
Through me, I'm an agent, a realtor agent, and yeah, so I list my own properties and find my own properties, but I do a lot of volume, so I just, I don't really haven't been working with any custom home builds, so. I just do a very nice job on the houses, and they usually move pretty quickly when I'm finished with them, and. You know.
Thank you.
yeah.
no problem.
And what he's saying is he's not gonna build the whole street. He's gonna build some of them and then try to settle. That's what we are trying to settle. More questions? Commission members, did you think of anything while we were talking to the public? Hearing none, then. Hearing none, a motion to close the public hearing is in order.
Move to close the public meeting.
Thank you, Frank.
I'll second the motion to close the public hearing.
Yes,
Call the roll. Commissioner Collins,
yes.
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes,
Commissioner Almeidas,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bonjordi.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you. Thank you for your time at home.
Do you need this back?
No, you can have that for you, sir.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I don't even know what it was.
It was like on the side of the sign.
Thank you.
It's down in the tray.
Put it right on the, yeah. See where the other one is?
Oh, yeah.
I think it, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. So we should be on next agenda or
Yeah, we'll get the order on the next.
when would that be?
Next meeting would be the July 8th.
July.
Yeah, yeah. So.
And you should have all your other information by now, I think.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, and he should be back this week, I think, the end of the week. He said you have his, his letter, so that should be good.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
See you.
So
Thanks.
Okay.
this brings us, thank you. This brings us to all other matters properly before the commission. We could do 1 and 2 if the commission wants to. Number 1, as I said during the hearing, that it would be applicable but not require a filing as long as Adam gets to inspect the hay bales and before they begin.
Just did escape, you're trying to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's, does that sound okay with people, or?
I'm not sure what you were saying.
I was saying that with number 1, for the park department project, we
Oh,
could.
all right,
we could do-
okay,
While it's applicable, it's not gonna require filing as long as Adam gets to inspect the erosion controls prior to construction. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion for petition 8760 that it is applicable but does not require it finally, as long as Adam gets to inspect the project as it's being done.
Is
I'll
there-
s- I'll sec-
go ahead, Fred.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Collins,
Yes,
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes,
Commissioner Almeidas,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bonjordi.
Yes.
and actually, number 2, all we really do is approve the plans that were submitted, and they
Right.
haven't changed in 25 years, I think. And those
Yeah.
gray zones have never changed. I've been here for at least 6 of these.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
So the motion would be to accept the delineation,
Right, as is.
yeah, as is.
and so moved.
I'll second.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes,
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes,
Commissioner Almeidas,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonjordi.
Yes.
is there anything else that we have under all other matters?
yeah,
Adam,
Um,
do you-
I don't know.
Go
I
ahead.
have something. Um, my time is up for the CPA. And, I'd be willing, in fact, I'd like to continue, but if anybody, I still, because I've had it now a couple of terms, and if somebody else really wants it, if nobody does, I'd be willing to continue.
We make the motion that you continue to be our rep on the CPA.
But does anybody? No? Okay, so I do need a letter to be sent to the CPA.
That
So,
I can draft you up one.
right, I think and it needs, Chris, it needs your signature.
Yeah, I'll draft it up, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
anybody have anything else?
No, all set.
And a motion to adjourn is in order.
No, I was just gonna say, we got a couple more projects that should be coming through here pretty soon, everyone, so. I think we have another NOI scheduled for the next meeting, so possibly a couple RDAs. So should be some good stuff, that's.
Nothing all winter, we're gonna be busy.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. And the next meeting is July what?
July 8th.
July,
Yeah, the next meeting would be Tuesday, July 8th. It's gonna double
July
check.
8th.
Yeah, Tuesday, July 8th, that will be the next meeting, so.
Okay,
No, that's it.
Then a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Right, Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes.
Commissioner Alminas. Yes. Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonjour.
Yes.